Hi everyone, welcome to Amaranth. These are general messages for the collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter placements. Let's get into it. The first card you have, Cancerians, is the Devil in the reverse. And this is Major Arcana. And it's good that it's in the reverse for you, Cancerians, because it is time for your solar return, right? I mean, the Sun being in Cancer, there's already Jupiter in Cancer, there's Mercury in Cancer. So it's like a stellium out there. And at the time of your solar return, this is such a good energy to welcome in the season of Cancer. I feel that there is something you're pulling out of that you have recognized as an energy or a power that was holding you back. Maybe it was something was had power over you, right? Whether it's a habit, a pattern, an addiction, or it could be any other situation, whether it's a job or a neighborhood, people, anything could have been holding you back, could have been weighing on you, could have restricted your growth, could have restricted your I would say your dreams or whatever you wanted to pursue. And it's going to be different for each one of you, but the energy or the situation that restricted you, that was holding you back, is something that you have recognized. Sorry about that noise. So yeah, I was talking about the restrictions, the holds, the power that some situation had on you. And recognizing that is the first step towards a release. You know, once you recognize what's holding you back, that's when you put together a plan, and then you have that, you're like strongly devoted and you have that willpower to walk out of it or walk away from it. So this is by no means being a rebel or, kind of escaping a situation. This is something that you consciously choose. Devil in the reverse comes when you're conscious, you has elevated, there is recognition, there is seeing clearly, there is clarity, and then you decide to walk away from that. So it's like whether it's some, substance or habits or something that was holding you back is something now that you are releasing from your energetic hold. And of course, I mean, it doesn't happen in one day. It takes time, one thing at a time, one step at a time. That's how this energy is released, even if it's an addiction, you cannot do it in one day. So, and this is very important. I feel that, sometimes, not sometimes, I mean, today there are a lot of people that are available to help you. You could have had help from people to help you, move away and or choose another direction or whatever that is. But this energy is playing out a lot, in today's times, because, earlier times in the earlier days or in the earlier decades, there was lack of support, whether from the house or whether externally even, there's a lot of organizations today that are devoted to so many causes, and that's the support system that people have to walk out from this energy, whether it's addictions from anything, substance abuse or just binge eating or not, anything, I mean, any kind of a habit, in the years or decades, nobody would talk about it. It was a stigma, societal stigma. But today people are coming up, they're opening about it, and families and people are ready to receive external help. They're ready to open up to counselors or any kind of help that's available to salvage situations, salvage themselves. And for some of you, it could be that you're actually working with the team or group organization to come out of this. Or this can just be you yourself doing it, at a soul level where you figure that, this is now the situation you want to belong to, whether it's people, person, neighborhood, job, anything, or a belief system even, sometimes even the belief systems that we have sometimes hold us back so strongly. And recognizing that, not all belief systems that we inherit are meant for us. We're all born, we're all different people of different tastes, of different capabilities. And sometimes a belief system kind of in the environment that we grew in kind of gets ingrained in our heads. And taking that off also takes a lot of thinking, analyzing, planning, and then moving away from that. That doesn't make you a rebel by any means. It just means that you are ready to choose something which is different from what people expected in your family or in your society or in your neighborhood. So choosing a different route is for yourself because it just works for you, and that's the right thing to do, and that's what this Tao energy is all about. For some of you, this could be, maybe financial restrictions that you're walking away from. It could be some loans that you had and now you're trying to pay that off, or it could be some properties that you're trying to release. It could be anything. It could be an emotional situation or a familiar situation that, you were like, oh my God, I don't know how the next situation is going to be. So sometimes, out of fear, like we don't know how things are going to work out for us. What is the next situation, next chapter holding for us? Due to lack of knowledge, due to lack of awareness, sometimes we just stay stuck. But I feel that, when push comes to shove, this energy starts realizing that you've been held back for way too long. So now you start moving in the other direction, or in a direction that you feel is going to be better for you than where you were stuck for long time. But the caveat is that sometimes you get so mad, when leaving, that you want to burn the bridges, you want to say the wrong things, because you're like so mad that we've been in this situation. So we kind of take it out and vent out on people and things like that. So the caveat with this devil and the reverse energy is allow yourself some grace. When you walk out of situations, just know that there was a reason why you were stuck in a certain place. And moving out has actually taught you something about yourself. And staying there also has taught you something about yourself and about how things work. So this is an elevation, a spiritual elevation, a conscious elevation. And it happens only when we have experienced, or when we are in the thick of it, we realize that it's not something that we want and something that is, is becoming restrictive. You cannot predict this. You cannot feel it from a distance. You have to be in the thick of it to elevate to this level. And that's a very good energy, especially in your solar return, because solar return cycles, somehow, they draw focus and attention towards us, paying attention to ourselves, choosing ourselves, and I feel that maybe you have been, especially with the Cancer is the fourth house archetypal energy of home, family, friends, giving, and all of that, so sometimes that drains, because Cancer energy is the cardinal sign of giving, of starting, of doing things a lot, outwardly for people. So sometimes that, actually a lot of times that drains energy and takes away from the Cancerians' own space itself, from their own things that they want to do, or takes time and energy away from their own personal development that they want to work on. So I feel that you're recognizing those energy drains also is something that, solar returns cycles generally focus on. The focus is your front and center now in your session season of solar return. And also I feel that Jupiter in your sign right now is growing. Jupiter is the planet of growth, of expansion. So for some of you, this could be that, you're feeling tied and bound to your situation because expansion is happening. For expansion, you need to remove the confines, you need to remove those restraints on you. So I feel that some of you could be doing that. And I feel that wherever you are heading towards, Cancerians, it's going to be a good place because, with Venus entering Leo, it's going to be a positive thing for you. You're going to feel lighter, you're going to feel better, you're going to look good, you're going to be more of yourself, you're going to be more energetic, you'll feel more free, versus restricted, so you'll feel more free and happy. Now, we're also seeing this energy, like I've been seeing this energy come up quite a lot, especially at the global level also, and these could be draining energies, whether draining your finances. There's a lot of institutions that, will put high rates and all of that, and they drain our finances. And there's a lot of alternates which are coming today for the benefit of the society. For some of you, it could be stuck up in some kind of a financial loop or cycle that you're trying to release yourself from, or maybe some assets. The next card you have, Cancerians, is the Root card. So if you see the picture, it's a very nice, I mean, a very simple picture. There is just the roots that are shown. It's not showing the rest of the tree. And it's a bright energy, right? Their entire deck over here is like the background is yellow. It has a brighter, more welcoming energy to it. Now, with the root system, root grows under the ground. And there could, so for some of you, that could be relevant, like something that you have planted a seed that has actually grown big roots. For some of you, this could be your roots, your family roots, your ancestral roots, your community roots, that you could be looking into, that you could be investing into at this point in time, Cancerians. But you have the devil card before this, and there is a devil card in the reverse, and that's a release. Now, release of, it could be that once you release yourself from something, it makes you feel rooted, right? It makes you feel connected to yourself. Or this could be a habit or an addiction or a pattern that's coming from your roots, maybe your ancestors, maybe the lifestyle, the belief system. It could be that you're releasing yourself from that. It could go both ways. That, you feel relaxed, you feel rooted after releasing certain situation, and which you feel that could have come from your ancestor, your ancestral lineage or something, a habit that you picked up, something, it could be coming from there as well. And those of you could be working in the root industry in some way. Maybe it's about agriculture, it's about, you studying certain roots. But if you see in the picture, there is a blue flame, like it's a common theme across all the cards in this deck. The blue flame over here is the soul. The most highlight of the card is where the soul is. Here, the soul is at the point where the upper bark is intersecting with the roots as they branch out. So it's the point of divergence, where a single point, it diverges, it spreads it into multiple roots. That's where the soul is. So I don't know how it's going to be, how it's related to you. It could be that some kind of divergence, when you're diversifying, diversifying your ancestral assets, or it could be that, I don't know, you have branched out from your family roots. Maybe like, your family is, you belong to a family of doctors or engineers or lawyers or something like that, and you branch out, into something completely different. Or it could be that you're opening certain multiple centers of your business, like in multiple, maybe you're having like different branches of your center, like a franchise or something like that. That could be for some of you. But when it comes to the root system is an ecosystem, in the world, or underground ecosystem for the trees, for the plants. They all like, and if you've seen the latest, not latest, I would say there's a lot of research in the last decade that has been going on in the root ecosystem, where the roots are communicating, and a lot of scientists have proved that they communicate, they share resources and all of that. So for some of you, sharing of resources or having that kind of community, strong community support or family support, to fall back on, or something that feeds your soul, something that replenishes you, something that nourishes you, can also be of relevance over here. Now, whether it's your family, whether it's your friends, like a family network, or it's a network of people that are actually feeding you, supporting you, nourishing you. This can also be, I would say, even maybe agriculturally, maybe you're studying those kind of ecosystems, like, which roots, some of you could be into agriculture. There's a lot of research going on in how the roots system communicate and share resources. For some of you, that could be of importance as well. For others of you, this can also be that, you're trying to establish roots somewhere. Maybe you've moved to a new neighborhood and you're trying to establish your roots over there. Or you could be visiting your family, ancestral place where you grew up, where you belonged, or where you feel belonged. For some of you, you could be dealing with ancestral property, that passed down, or you could be passing down some kind of asset or ancestral homes to the next generation. It could go either ways, but something to do with your childhood or ancestral land, or you could be working on some rights of ancestral land or ancestral property or things like that. For some of you, you could be working on that as well. There is also an honoring of the roots. So for some of you, you could be like, studying up your family, your lineage, how things worked, and you could be listening to a lot of stories or how things worked in your family lineage and all of that, and you could be learning something about it or just figuring something around it. For others of you, this could be something that you're growing, underground. I don't know if it's plants. You could be growing some root, carrots and things, vegetables like that. But this can also be some network that you're trying to establish, some underground network that is invisible to people. It could be a network that you're trying to establish, which is not visible to the external world as yet. Because you can't see the tree in this picture. There is only the roots which is visible, so we cannot see what's growing upwards. So some of you could be working in some kind of infrastructure, laying the infrastructure, underground infrastructure for the city or the town or something like that. It could be establishment of roots, networks, cables, and maybe it's some underground networks, trains and all of that. These days, there's a lot of growth in the sense of connectivity or even water pipes and things like that. So establishment of roots. And that is not visible to the external world as yet. For some of you, you could be working in those industries, or you could be working on something for your own personal growth and development that makes you strong, that keeps you strong, in your roots, like rooted, strongly rooted. It could be a health habit, a gym workout, or something that keeps you rooted, walking out, spending time in nature, or growing your own vegetables and produce some kind of a hobby or habit that actually keeps you rooted. Now, with the solar return, the focus is on you. So some of you could be actually seeing the network that you have established, or seeing the work that you have done, the inner work that you have done, that keeps you rooted. For some of you, this could be like, I feel the roots are, this strong. They hold the entire structure. For humans, the roots are things that people cannot see, our values, our hobbies, our ideas, our heart and soul, how we function, our thoughts, our skills, and all of that, that is not visible to the external world, is something that makes us, and that's something which is invisible to the world. How we think, everything, the ideas, the decisions that we make, and all the qualities that we have are not visible to everybody unless we go and, showcase it. People don't know what keeps us going, what keeps us rooted, who we are at the core. For some of you, that could be of significance, in your season of solar return. And with this devil energy in the reverse, it's a similar kind of an extended message, I feel, because, with the devil in the reverse, you're like feeling free, feeling liberated, feeling rooted. And I feel you land in a place or in a situation where, you will feel deeply connected or deeply rooted, or someplace that you belong. When you release those chains that were holding you back, you will head into a direction where you belong, feeling free, feeling rooted. So it's something like that. And I feel that some of you itself become this structure, the strong root structure that supports a community, that supports a network or family or, friends, called or office and teams and something like that. Like you become the root, you become the single point that supports a system. So for some of you, you could be supporting family, supporting other organizations, your office place, and things like that. And the last card, Puchuri Cancerians, you have is a message from Cosmos. And it says leadership. Further, it says forefront. Yeah, look at this beautiful picture out here. Further, it says You have the opportunity to take the lead. It may be in work, personal, or family situations. You have the wisdom and knowledge to do what is best at this time. No more playing it safe and blending in with the pack. Shine your light and speak your truth. Exactly what we've been talking about, taking the lead. Don't hold yourself back. You have the experience, you have the wisdom that you have accrued through being in situations. You have the knowledge on how to work things out for yourself. Sometimes we stay constricted because it feels familiar, it feels safe. But I feel that now you're done with that situation. You're done with playing safe. You're done with playing it small maybe, and you're like, you trying to blend in or stay there because you don't want to upset the system or upset people or, sound and feel like the rebel. But this is not rebellion by any means, Liberation is not rebellion. It's your own personal leadership. It's your own, what do you call, sovereignty, right? It's your will. It's your soul's journey. So you're at the forefront or of something, and you're leading from that space. You're called to lead, or you want to lead, or it's time that you lead here, Cancerians. So you have it all, things that are not visible to people. That's your light, and speak your truth. Say what it is, what you want, where you want to go from here, what you cannot do, what you will do, and all of that. Be honest and speak it out. So Cancerians, those were your messages. Hope they resonated with you. So the first card you have, Scorpio, is the 10 of Wands. Now, 10 of Wands is a fire energy, fire archetype. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius are the fire archetype. So you may have those placements heavily. It doesn't have to be. 10 of Wands typically is, sorry about that noise, Scorpio. So this image is a very beautiful image, even though it's 10 of Wands, which typically in the tradition right away is an energy of burden, carrying the weight, doing a lot, stress out and all of that. And also the Rider-Waite deck, it's like, the person is so burdened that they're almost at the end point. But they're unable to see it because their back is bent. They're unable to see how close they are to the end point to release those burdens. This deck has a little bit of a different energy to the 10 of Wands. Here, there is one wand, and then there are 10 seeds inside of this crystal that's holding all these 10 seeds. And then there's petals that's growing on, all around this central crystal with the 10 seeds. So I feel here, Scorpio, that I feel that for some of you, it could be that you're stressed out and you're doing a lot. But for the most part, I feel that it's time for you to release it, in the sense like not just drop the weight like that, but to release. These are seeds. These are 10 seeds packed inside the crystal. And seeds are nothing but future potential. So you might be doing too much. You might have done too much. But I feel this energy is asking you to release these seeds in a way that can grow. And by that, what I mean is that, for example, if you have, if you have a company of your own, right? And it happens, like if you have a business of your own or something, you're the one-man show, right? You're doing everything from finances and marketing and selling and packing and everything. You're carrying the weight of it all. I feel that, and sometimes it happens that we hold on to doing so much because we don't trust that the other person or somebody else can actually replace us or do a job as good as us. And I feel this energy is asking you to do exactly that delegate the things so that other people can pick it up. And because these are seeds, there is a huge potential for growth. So maybe you can find the right resources who will run and take these responsibilities or the jobs, and they will make it grow. There is potential for growth. So you can, probably, if you are, for example, the CEO, so you can hire people who will, handle the divisions and report to you, something like that. Now, if this is in your personal life, this could be that you're doing too much at home. And maybe you can assign those tasks to people that are there, that to the people in the house, and just trust that they will do a good job at it. Like, for example, if you are the one who's responsible for the kitchen or cooking all meals, maybe you can, delegate that or teach somebody else who will, then cook with their own flavors and create their own recipes. And that seed of delegation will grow into somebody who learns cooking, who cooks in their style, and you get to enjoy the meals as well. So it's that kind of analogy that I'm picking up. Because you being a Scorpio, you're the 8th house archetypal energy of depth, and, you have so much endurance. You can really focus on 100 things at the same time. You can carry that really well. And I feel that this energy is asking you, like, why are you doing so much? There are other people, there are other resources who can do it, and trust them that they will be able to take up the responsibility and make it grow and do it, as good as you. They can even, so, and for you, you can just take up 1 or 2 things and you can work on that. So it's a little bit of a consolidation energy. Similarly, if you have like 100 scattered assets and all of that, this energy is asking you to consolidate it. Rather than leave it just scattered, it's better that you consolidate it and make one thing grow, and enjoy that one thing. So, for example, if you have like, maybe if you have like 3, 4 small homes that you have invested into, so maybe this energy is saying that maybe you're in need of a bigger house right now, but maybe you don't have the funds available, the liquid funds. So this energy is asking you, like, maybe you can sell off a house and give it to, or, sell off a house, and the finances and the equity that you have earned out of that, you can pull in for buying a bigger house for yourself and enjoy a bigger house, rather than, you living in a small house and then having 2, 3 smaller properties that you're not able to enjoy, and that's not making any sense. So instead, why don't you sell and get a bigger house and, enjoy the bigger house for yourself? So for some of you, you could be doing something like that, consolidating funds and investing into something big and letting go of the smaller funds, or consolidating smaller funds and making it a bigger fund. So for some of you, it could be that as well. I also feel for some of you, this could also be the work that you have putting in is now ready to be displayed. Like, for example, if you're a fashion designer, and you've created these like 10, 20 different kind of outfits. And now you're ready to display those 20 outfits in a fashion show. And, every outfit is like a seed. So, you never know. Like, maybe you can get like 10 different offers from 10 different houses, for more orders. Or someone will probably invite you for another show somewhere. Or you don't know how those outfits are going to, be received. Like, it might create another business opportunity for you. You might get, another designer house to sign you up for some clothes, or you might get another partnership that wants to partner up with you and create more outfits. So when you, showcase those different outfits, you don't know how, what are the further opportunities that are going to be created out of it. So it's that kind of an energy, like you're dispersing those seeds, you're dispersing those outfits, and you're waiting to see what it's going to happen to those seeds, how it's going to be received, where it's going to land, how it's going to bloom. And I feel that this is the very right time. That's why this energy showed up for you, Scorpio, because we're heading the point of summer solstice, a point where sun and its energy is supercharged, and any thing that you put your hand to right now, or you focus on, or you devote your time to, is going to grow. It's going to land well. It's going to, be a long-term investment, something like that. It's going to go the distance. It's going to be long-term. because the energy of the solstice is favorable for that. So I'm definitely also picking up an energy of, also like a release, of course, like coming back to the traditional Rider-Waite deck, it is definitely a time of release, but it could be like you've done too much for way too long. Now, either take a task and stop off the things that you have been doing and ask yourself, like, why are you doing it? Like, does it make any sense to go further doing it? Or, what is the reason behind that you picked up so many things? So you can take a stock of one thing at a time and see what can be released and in which way. Because if this 10 of Wands is too much work or, exhaustion, then you will definitely need to, pay attention to your health and why you're doing too much. Is it your things that you're doing, or, what is the reason that you're stretching yourself? All of these questions you will need to ask yourself, because, 10 of Wands is typically overwork, exhaustion, and it's hard to carry along. It's not a sustainable energy. So you will need to plan, like, how do you want to pursue this? Now, for others of you, it could also be an energy of, it's like when you have this big house, right, and you have too much things in it, you've collected and accrued it over a period of time, that it's kind of burdening you, like, what are you going to do with so much stuff? And you start releasing that. For some of you, it could be that kind of a release, that you've accumulated so much. Now you're trying to figure out where and what to let go and how you would do that. Because I feel that, with the 10 of Wands, I also feel that some of you might be, having some kind of a back pain if you're carrying too much weight, if you're doing the heavier lifting, or actually in the lifting of weights or lifting heavy things, then I feel that that also needs to shift, because I do feel some kind of, back or shoulder or some kind of pain might also be happening because of this. The next card you have, Scorpio, is the sap. Now, we can see in the picture there is a bark, and then there is the sap which is coming out from to the crevices in the bark. And all of us know sap is the most, useful thing that lives inside the bark, which is used for 100 different things, paper and whatnot. So we know how precious it is. And this sap, which is right inside, like right inside of the surface of this bark, is the very thing that sustains this bark or the tree. But it's coming out through those points, that have breaks in it, like the punctures or the crevices. And it'll just, it'll just come out, it'll just run out, it'll just ooze out from those spots that are cracked and broken. So I feel, Scorpio, for you, there is something like, coming out through the cracks. The cracks is something that this tree has endured, It could be something that you have endured, some experiences, some not so pleasant experiences, and the entire spectrum that we deal with, the ups and downs and all of that. So I feel it's just, for the cracks are indicative of the, the life experience, which of course, is full of ups and downs. And I feel that the sap is the life force that gets us going through, through all the ups and downs of life. And I feel that there is something which is coming out to these experiences from you, Scorpio. It could be a gift of some sort which you never thought you had, It could be anything, an aspect, a quality that you never thought you had, You had the 10 of Wands. It's like overdoing things. there is endurance, there is resilience with the Ten of Wands as well. And I feel it's the same thing over here. There is something that is coming out of you. It's going to be different for each one of you, but something you learn about yourself. That you learned only because you went through something that was difficult or that you had to endure. It could be, they say like, when we go through something difficult, a lot of artists see that they were able to compose, they became writers, they become song artists and all of that because they express what's going on inside of them through that particular art, through the craft. And, it just resonates with people so much that, it stays alive to that art and craft. For you, it could be something like that, something that you have learned or something that will come out, which is going to be very meaningful to you, which is going to be very valuable to you, and which was something inside of you which you did not know about. Now, also, I feel that, there is, it reminds me of the wounds. Something like, I hope you're all okay, Scorpio, but, it reminds me that maybe it's the scratch or something like that. Maybe you are going through some kind of healing, repair, recovery of some sort. And, this picture image reminds me of the scratch. Like, when we used to play in the younger days, we fell on the street, like learning how to skate or just running and things like that. When we get the bruises, and then, it starts to heal, that bruise area starts to heal. But the layer, when the wound is healing, the scabs that come, they are not the same as the original, and even when the scabs come off, the skin is not the same as the original. It's different. It's more stronger. It's more resilient, I feel. So it's that kind of an analogy that I'm picking up for you. So I don't know if you're, I hope not, but I just get a picture of a wound that's healing. For some of you, you could be in that energy of healing. And also, sap is about nature, so something you might be connected to nature. For some of you, you could be into a paper business or sap extraction business. Or I'm also getting recovery and healing business. So for some of you, you could be in the medical field, working on healing and new modalities of healing, especially related to nature, biohealing and things like that. Or some of you could just be doctors or in the medical field, that you are kind of, coming up with new ways or research of healing. I'm also picking up stem cells. So some of you could be researchers or scientists that are working in that area, or something in the surgical department and things like that. Like DP medical areas is also what I'm picking up on. But nevertheless, it's the healing after the some kind of negative experience. It's like, the post-trauma, like when we went through the darkest pandemic years and people went through hell and back, and they started to recover. And this havoc, it touched every person, everybody. I haven't known of a single person who was not touched by the pandemic in some base, some sort. So everybody started to heal and recover and find ways of healing, recovering, and starting their lives. Or, something came out of that pandemic dark area. Like some people shifted their jobs, some people shifted their neighborhood, their countries even. Or they just changed the way they worked and things like that, So a huge change happened in the entire world, when in those dark times of pandemic. And I'm not saying that this is like that kind of a dark time, but the analogy that I'm trying to make is that through every hurdle or obstacle that we go through, in our day-to-day, something comes out of it, a shortcut, an idea, something which is value add, something that goes with us for a long, long time, and we build that muscle, we build the resilience. So for some of you, it could be that as well. Or for some of you, this could be, related to you. I don't know if you are trying to, and this could be anything. It doesn't have to be a body healing. It could be anything, right? I mean, it could be that maybe like, for example, if you had a, a piece of land, you own a piece of land somewhere, and, you know, and you had a property over there, and that property, over a period of time, it kind of cracks, right? Because there's like the wear and tear that happens, and then, the house is showing that it's gotten old, or it needs maintenance, or it needs some kind of remodeling or something like that. So for some of you, it could be like you're seeing like, how old this property has gotten. It needs to be restructured or redone or something like that. For some of you, it could be recovering those properties, like turning something old into new. This is also the kind of energy that I'm picking up. For some of you, this could be DIYing, like you got an old table and you try to fix it and, paint it and do a good job and, recover that or salvage that. So some of you could be in DIY's industry and salvaging situations. But the thing about this energy is like our scars, our hurts, they really, turn us into something else. It's like a transmuting. We become something else due to these deep, profound experiences and over a period of time and, getting wiser, and things like that. And I feel that, all of those experiences, they take us to a place where we are meant to go. They turn us into a version that we're meant to become. For some of you, it could be that you're becoming a different version of who you are. And that's what the soul growth is all about. It's for each one of us, some fast, some slow. For some of you, this could be like a fast movement or a fast change, or, something moving really fast. Maybe something was slow and now it started to move fast. That's also I'm picking up. So maybe if it was a project or something was stalled or it was stagnant of some sort, then things now are starting to move really fast. And the last card for today, Scorpio, you have is a message from Cosmos. And it says, suck energy alignment. Further, it says, you have stuck energy that can be caused by holding on to pain or having resistance to let new energy flow in. Get grounded and reconnected to your body once again. Yeah, that's what I'm feeling for you, Scorpio, that, there is something that was stalled or stuck. I don't know if you're holding on to some pain and you're not allowing for healing, or you're just holding on to some pain because you're familiar with it. It feels like home to you. Change is always hard, and letting go of the pain is also hard because, it's something that reminds us of those times, those times before, the times when things were good, in regards to that situation. So I feel that it's a time of transition. Of course, each house, energy is about transformation, transmutation, and I feel that's something that needs to happen. Even with the sap card, I was feeling something like that, because the scratches and the wear and tear of the bark, it shows that something, something has been, wearing out or burdening you with 10 of Wands. That you're not allowing new ways of being or new energy, new people. Maybe you're not delegating, you're not finding new ways of managing that or handling that, and it might be overwhelming you. It says here, get grounded and reconnected to your body once again. So definitely there is healing out here which is needed. There is, maybe you're missing out the signs that your body is telling you of tiredness, of burnout, or exhaustion. And the tree sap, it's like go out in the nature. Your nature is going to be your best bud right now. So, they say when you hug a tree, it kind of releases a lot of pressure from the body. I mean, I'm a little bit afraid of doing that because, I do that to the thinner ones, not to the bigger bugs, because I feel that there are some ants and all of that in the bigger, thicker bugs. But just spending out time in nature, getting grounded, walk. Yeah, and I feel that will give you some new ideas, new inspirations. And it might help you to restructure your life in some way by welcoming new things, new ideas, and new energy. So a little bit of a restructuring energy that needs to happen here for you, Scorpio. Scorpio, those were your messages and hope they resonated with you. Now moving on to the sign of Pisces. The first card you have, Pisces, for today is the Judgment. And it's in the reverse for you. Now, Judgment is a major arcana. It sometimes is related to the archetypal energy of Sagittarius. And the one thing which is common between Sagittarius and archetype and Piscean archetype is Jupiter, the ruling planet. And for you, there's Neptune as well for a long time and still does have influence on your sign because it's fluid, it's dreamy, and all of that. But I feel that with this Judgment in the reverse, this is a major, major inner calling, right? It's Judgment is also known as the resurrection. And I feel here that looking at the picture, when it's in the upright, when the Judgment is in the upright, it does feel like a very, a sacred place, and even in the reverse, it feels like, a sacred space. That energy will still be there with it in the reverse as well. But I feel that there's an inner calling. There is something that, a resurrection, which means that it's a second chance at something. It's a second chance at life, I feel. Because it's in the reverse, it's directed, this energy is directed towards your soul. It's like your soul watching, it's like your soul watching from the inside and seeing, what is the person that I have or the body that I have incarnated in. How is this body, how is this person living the life? So it's like I feel like it's like ASAP return energy for you as well, Pisces. In the sense that, see, Saturn is the teacher. It instills values, discipline, and all of that. It's a slow-moving planet, slow lessons that the soul learns. And I feel that all of that has been learned with the Saturn is now ready to move into your neighbor sign called Aries. It is a sign of Aries. And I feel that, it's your soul, your heart and soul, which is your temple, your inner world. So I feel that there is something that you are shifting, deeply. There is some calling, there is some structure in your life that you want to have. There is a way of life that you want to live your life. And there is a deeper knowing, like how you want to live your life. It's like from the inside, you have become somebody else. There is transformation, there is lessons. Might even be looking back at everything that the soul or the lessons that you have learned, through the choices you have made, I would say, because every choice teaches us something about ourselves, about the lesson, in the good and the not so good. So every situation, every experience is sent towards us to learn something. And I feel that at the Saturn return for you, Pisces, everything, all of those lessons that you have accrued over a period of, maybe a year or two or even more, I feel you have integrated that, and once you integrate those lessons, the next steps, the future actions, the future life that anybody would want to live will be in accordance with the lessons that have been learned. And these lessons are at the soul level. So this is like your inner resurrection, where you are going to, you're going to act because now you have that inner calling, that answer to your questions, that inner knowing. It's like inside there is a, it's like awakening. It's like a awakening of some sort, like in a really big way. Could be a major life decision that you're planning to make. Um, So this could be something that you have been thinking about or you're thinking about, but maybe a major choice that you have to make about a workplace or living situation or personal life, professional life, whatever that major polling, that major transformation, I mean transition, I would say, not transformation, that major transition, the change, the future life direction that you've been asking about yourself is now here. It's answered for you. It's like a major awakening. Like this is exactly what I want to do. And maybe it's the lessons that you have learned has led you to this decision, you know. If you did not have those lessons, you might have made some other decisions with because Saturn energy is there, you know, teaching those life lessons, soul lessons. Because you have integrated all of that. You've done the inner work through meditation, through whatever, you know, modalities, you have integrated that. And I feel that now you've come out, you know, it's a second call at your soul, you know, living the life that you really wanted, you know, in accordance with, you know, whatever your principles are and all of that. So deep thought, deep understanding about life, it's coming from a very deep place, you know, a soul level wake up call. So, you know, it's deeply spiritual. And of course, Piscean energy is all about spirituality, growth, you know, learning and all of that. But at the same time, it's a very soft energy, right? Recepting energy, it's a receiving energy of kindness, compassion, all of those things. And a lot of spirituality as well with the Piscean archetypal energy. So this is something that is probably going to change, you know, your situation in a big, big way. And you are probably just, you know, you already have the answer. I feel that just in the reverse, you already have the answer. You just have not spoken about or acted on it as yet. So you will need to share it with people. You will need to say it out loud. You will need to, you know, make it work for you happen and all of those practical steps that need to be taken. But before we do anything on the outside, you know, things have got to sit well and correct on the inside. And I feel that inside part is already checked in big green check sign for you. You know, so it's like an internal auditing system. You've been through an internal audit. Your soul has audited your life before, after, and, you know, on going forward. So there is some kind of audit energy out here. For some of you, you might be, you know, this might also be in relation to where you work, you know, like doing the internal assessment of the company and, you know, what are the gaps and fixing all of those, getting feedbacks and all of that. Some of you might be into that as well. But otherwise, this is like an energy where you listen to your soul calling. And of course, you can't listen to it when you're super busy. So the reverse judgment allows you to create that sanctuary for you, that safe space, that retreat, that quiet area, that Zen space, you know, where you can go there and, you know, just feel calm and release your burdens and just feel lighter and just, you know, just listen to your voice of the soul. Like, what is your soul trying to say? A lot of meditation centers in the wilderness and, you know, and a lot of retreats have been created today for this immersive experience, and it has seen a great increase. So for some of you, you might be devoted to some causes like that of meditation and retreats and all of that, assisting people, or just you might have a business around that or a second or side gig around that, you know, around some priestly service or some kind of spiritual service or retreats or yoga meditation camps and things like that. You might be involved with it, you know, that help people evaluate their life and life lessons and put it together and where do they want to go from here. You know, it's a very important reckoning, like to decide where to go from here. What do you want? Some people I have seen that they are, you know, they have reached the pinnacle of their success in corporate, and then suddenly there's an internal awakening and they quit it and they just retire. You know, middle age, so suddenly the retirement age to close, they just choose to retire and do something, you know, some like a side gig, something they're passionate about. So it's like those kind of major callings, you know. It could be in regards to your personal life as well, like where do you want to live, what do you want to do with your life, those kind of major calls. But you want to do something that's aligned to your heart and soul. You know, so those are the major themes behind this judgment in the reverse. Here are the keywords. It says here, inner resurrection, secret descending, soul level reckoning, and private rebirth. Yeah, so it's a major arcana. And, this major change is going to manifest externally. And, this is the call that you've been waiting to hear. Your body knew it, your whole inner world knew it, and now I think you're going to act on it. The next card you have, Pisces, is the Love card. This is a beautiful energy out here for you. There are two trees out here that are, different colors. One is orange, one is brown, just intertwined, and I feel that's the love we're talking about over here. Below it says love as structure, chosen entwining, copper and silver becoming one, roots that chose each other. So yeah, this is a beautiful energy here, Pisces. If you see, there are two trees fused to each other. This is two trees that have been standing right beside each other for years and years. It's a long compounding energy. They're sharing their trunks, the space, their roots, everything intertwined with each other. This is like the household, a husband-wife partnerships, whether professional or personal. For the most part, it feels like personal, but it could be professional. This is some, and it feels like it's not going to fall off. It's not a fragile intertwine out here. This is like, it's grown intertwined together, inseparable kind of energy. This is a very grounded, established, been through it, lived all the seasons, all the experiences. So it's an aged energy out here, with somebody whom you have been for not just years, I would say decades, So it's that kind of a vibe where you're together, living under the same roof, and you just feel both of you belong in that same space with each other, in each other's lives, sharing every season, every experience. And, I feel that the energy now for you, Pisces, is available. And you had the Judgment card as well. I feel that is the inner recognizing, that the flyby, the newness, the the peak intensities, all of that doesn't matter anymore, to you. What matters is structure, stability, people who are there for each other through good, through bad, and everything. It's that kind of a love that matters to you more now. I think maybe you're looking back at the experiences and, you're seeing the difference between, high energy and, the intense love emotions and all of that versus stable, somebody who, is able to provide love even if it's, the other person is going through a rough time, or, just being there, just sticking it out. It's just, just that's the kind of beautiful love, a lifetime of love. And I feel that's what this is. Two people that are there for each other, holding each other in every situation. And if you see that these two trees, they feel like, different energies. Like one could be younger, one could be more seasoned, a little bit more rooted, grounded, and, kind of a little more wiser or older in age. And the other one is like the orange one is more like, bling energy, vibrant vitality, and complementing energies, and that there you go, right at the intertwine is the spark, is the soul. The soul of this relationship is the fact that these two have been there in the same space, sharing everything, every day, in and out, the mundane, the highs, the lows, everything together. And I feel that you're able to express that out much better now. The words, if you have to say it, will flow effortlessly. You're able to express it. Maybe you haven't done in a long time, but now you feel it so deeply that, the words just flow out. So these are the most important relationships, and I feel that that, you feel it. It could even be business, proper business or professional relationships or companies or partnerships or alliances. People that stuck it out through markets up and down, they understand each other, they can complete each other's words, they can understand what's running in their minds and, what person likes and the other person doesn't and all of that. It's about the full trust that's there. It doesn't mean that, there is no disagreements or arguments. It's just that, you know how to work through it. And what matters is that you two are present in the same space. And I feel that this is an energy of creating something so big, so strong, so rooted, and knowing that each of you cannot exist without the other. Each of you could not have done it without the other. So for some of you, either you're seeing trees like this in nature, but it's just an energy where love is expressed, at every point on the way. Doesn't have to be loud flashes or showy barbs or, displays of love, but it's just that an understanding, sharing and expressing it in those moments, when the world is not watching and things like that. And of course, these kind of relationships that are long-term, compounding, like I said, long-term is the energy over here. And it could be any type of relationships, friends, families that have become friends, or, even your institution, that you've been there for so long, they value you so much, you understand each other, you're just like, you stand up for each other, the organization stands up for you, and you're like, you'll do anything, you bend over backwards the organization. There are a lot of people, who have started in one company, retired in that same company because the company did everything they could to retain those employees, long-standing employees. So for you, it could be that. It could be even a love for a specific profession or domain. It's like people in entertainment, they love their entertainment industry so much. It's this kind of a relationship. Like they would not even imagine doing anything else or working for anything else. And it could be anything, whether it's doctors or lawyers, or you feel like this profession is the only one for me. I could not have done anything else. This is my passion, and work doesn't feel like work. And you stick it out with the same company for decades, and the company recognizes, awards, and takes care of its employees, that stick it out for long. So it's that a kind of, understanding that what is it, the happiness index increases, the benefits are there, versus shorter relationships or shorter associations don't bring that kind of, what do you call, the stability, structure, the happiness, short-lived relationships don't bring that kind of not health benefits, I would say, but I would say like, feeling satisfied and, just happy from within, and all of that comes only through sustainable, long-standing relationships. Now, for some of you, this could be partnerships that you're trying, or maybe it could be your partner itself, that you're getting into some business or some combined hobby or something like that. Some of you could be engaged in some kind of combined hobby, gardening. There are two trees out here, so some of you could be into trees or agricultural plants or something like that, where you're doing it together. Or this can also be, shared spaces where you've shared, something together for so long. It could be the love of something, a hobby, and you're like, no, this is my buddy. And, like, for example, if you go for swimming, like this is my best swim buddy somewhere, just go swim. So some of you could fall into that category as well. But for the most part, I feel something to do with family, your partnerships, whether professional or whether personal, So it's that kind of deep love, knowing that the person, you could not have done it without the other person being in your life. So it's a very nice, sweet energy of recognition, and also of expression. I feel that people are expressing like what it means to have found a partner that you can stick it up with so long, So yeah, it's a great energy out here. A lot of commitment, a lot of love. Doesn't have to be displayed to people, but it's just the inner knowing. You can read each other's actions and minds, and you have been doing it for years. So it's that kind of devoted love where, you feel that and you understand that. And I feel that judgment in the reverse could be something to do with your relationship, understanding that all the past lessons have taught you what true love is, what intertwining love is, what compounding relationships are. I feel that might be the judgment in the reverse for you, like an inner awakening to what love truly is. Um, yeah, and I feel that, investing into things that will stand the test of time, that will go the distance, whether it's in finances or in love or in hobbies or energy, something that will go the distance, will survive the cycles, the ups and downs, the finance portfolio that will survive the market fluctuations, and all of that are the right investments that you might be investing into. And the last card for today, Pisces, you have is a message from the cosmos. And it says, Radiant Goddess Acceptance. Further, it says, yeah, there are two. Oh, there's just one person here. Feels like a second person also. But anyways, you'll see. It says, you are an amazing goddess, ready to fully understand how significant you are. Tap into your power by owning your beauty and potential, by not making any apologies for it. Yeah, so I feel you're that tree, that understands, that has wisdom, that has wizened over a period of time. And you know who you are, and, proud of who you are, happy in, accepting and happy where you are in terms of your life experience, in terms of what you have accumulated and how far you have come. And being unapologetic, you are amazing. And especially with Piscean energy, 12th house archetype is always a giving, also receiving, warm, compassion, all those receptive principal energies being there, it's like you being there, you being the cup, you being the one who knows how to love people, who knows how to bend over backwards and love and give. And now you're also receiving, it is exchange of emotions and supporting each other, growing together, just being there. These are the lessons I feel that you have learned over a period of time, that just being there, sometimes, creates these loving structures that go the distance, and that stand the test of time, that are very much needed for the happiness, the satisfaction, and, for a fuller life experience. And it's something that you understand what true love is. Yeah, so great messages here, Pisces. Hope they resonated with you. So thank you guys for joining. Please subscribe and hit the like if you enjoyed the content, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Bye for now.